So first off, I really enjoyed the film and found your dynamic together very believable. So how early in the production did you two get involved?
Oh gosh, Doug, right?
Doug, yeah, D-O-U-G-E-Y, Dougie.
Dougie boy. You were attached before I was, right? Mm-hmm. You were much earlier than I was, wasn't it? Before the film.
I don't know if that's
actually
true.
No, that's not true.
I don't think that's true.
That's not true.
I think you were reading the script with Matt before I was around. We met one summer. I remember I was sleeping on my cousin's couch because I got kicked out of my mom's house. Mm-hmm. Me and my mom were fighting, and I got kicked out of my mom. And I was sleeping on the couch, and I got a call from Matt Sadowski that was like, "I want to do this movie." It was during TIFF.
Yeah.
And he said that you were already involved,
right?
And you wanted to come down and shoot some test footage.
Mm-hmm. Which we never ended up doing.
We did do it. She doesn't remember anything. It was during TIFF.
Okay.
And it was
it
was
was
at a concert series, and so we got to like hang out all night. I remember I was holding a Jack Kerouac book, which was a real good conversation starter.
It was.
We talked about going on the road and being Jack Kerouac.
Anyways, we're not answering the question.
We are. That is the answer to the question.
It was how early did you two get involved? So yeah.
That's how we met. And it was love at first sight, really.
Cool. And did you help develop your characters, or were a lot of their quirks and specific traits already on the page?
I think that when I initially read the script, there were a lot of similarities to who I actually was. And Matt and I are friends, so he kind of constructed a lot of Jordan's quirks and qualities and the things that she would say into the script.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of leniency with being able to kind of really bring anything to the table, so that we could find the authenticity of these two characters. But,
I think Matt really created a lot of the quirks of the character, but they're general neuroses, and a lot of them are sort of archetypical Jewish neuroses, which I think Matt really relates to, and I can relate to easily if I try for a second. But you know, me and Matt, no, but I have friends that are Jewish. My parents are Jewish, so. But yeah, Matt and I ended up hanging out for a couple of years before the movie got made, so I think, and the script changed a few times, so I think accidentally somehow bits of me and bits of our dynamic.
And was there a lot of improvising on set?
No.
Yes. Did we shoot the same, were we in the same movie?
Is that you?
Is that you?
Dude, we improvised like shit before when we were doing rehearsals. But generally, we stuck to the script.
Well, here's what I remember. I remember this was like one of the only movies where I learned around the lines.
Yeah. So
I feel like we never really memorized the lines. The only scene I thought that was really bang on to the script that I was like, Matt, I love the writing. We both love the writing. Was the sex scene where there was only like 4 or 5 lines. It was like, sorry, are you okay?
Yeah.
But it was just so perfectly written that way that we ran it over and over and over again, I remember. But I think otherwise so much of it was...
I guess there was room. To be honest, I have a short-term memory. I can't remember when or how I felt.
Yeah, we improv'd our way around a lot. And we improv'd in rehearsals, and then Matt was supposed to go write it down but didn't really write it. So it kind of all bubbled up from rehearsal improv into the film, and then improving while we're shooting too.
And the sex scene is done like this long, awkward single take that feels like painfully real.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So, was that a particularly difficult moment to film, and what was the atmosphere like on set?
Gosh.
It was a very difficult. We had an actress steward on set, and there was like a lot of questions about like, well, the nudity and what are we allowed to show? Who's comfortable with doing what? I'm not comfortable doing this. It was like it was something we didn't really negotiate beforehand, so it kind of all came to a head.
And this was kind of
set.
Both of our primary like sex scene that we'd ever really done. Had you done a sex scene?
Yeah, I had done some sex scenes before.
I'd done some like Matt's saying something else. He's like, this was his first sex scene, so
whatever, okay, you can make up stories,
whatever.
That's fine. There's lots of mythology in these kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think it was very respectful on set.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it was close set, all that kind of stuff that you do to make everybody feel comfortable. But I think that Dov and I were kind of on the same page when it came to just going and jumping in and letting the actual vulnerability and actual awkwardness of the fact that we have to simulate sex play into the performance, which shows and reads. And it's probably painstakingly hard to watch, as you said, because it's familiar. We've all had that.
Yeah, I just thought that scene was so well written.
It is.
Which is strange for a sex scene to be written.
Because there's not much dialogue.
No. But it was really on the page.
Yeah.
And I think Tommie and I really understood that and really committed to that. And there was a lot of weird stuff going on. I had also a terrible migraine that I could almost not even stand between takes. I was laying in a dark room, and I wasn't even sure if we'd be able to shoot the scene. And it was a different location than they had planned. Like, there was just like about 17,000 things going wrong on set that day. And somehow I think we just both really connected to each other and to the circumstance, and it kind of and to the script. And it was really great that we ran it so many times.
Yeah, we did.
And it just kind of like exploded and worked, I thought.
Yeah, and without giving too much away, there's a certain point in the film where your characters become more noticeably distant from each other, especially during the dinner scenes leading up to the sex scene, which were just beautifully done. And how do you strike that balance between sort of having chemistry but also subtly drawing away?
Oh gosh, I think that feeling is familiar to everybody in some regard. You know, you meet somebody and maybe it doesn't turn out or isn't feeling right, and you're trying to force it, maybe make it work. According to her, you have one last question. Okay. Sorry, we'll go fast.
Okay.
But don't worry, we'll figure it out. And so yeah, I don't know.
Well, from my point of view, I think just wanting it to work out even more makes it kind of uncomfortable. I mean, from my point of view, I just really had a lot of desperation and really just needed this to work.
It was playing the contrast, right? He wanted it so much and I had so much doubt. So the more that I played that doubt and the more that he had it wanting to work created the conflict, and I think created the palpable sense of
I think from my point of view, also like squeezing something a little too tightly kind of squishes it and makes it a little uncomfortable, which is something I was aware of, sort of holding on a little too tight, which I think created the awkwardness. But yeah, it's something you don't, as an actor, really want to play. You know, I don't want to play that this is awkward. I don't want to play that I really need this, and then that kind of like makes it.
It shows perfectly. And some of the best scenes in the film are the quiet conversations between the two of you, especially during the sequence on Center Island. As actors, do you find these quieter moments harder or easier to nail down than sort of the bigger dramatic moments?
I don't know. I think with you and I, it was comfortable in every regard. It's as long as we were connected and knew where we were going and what we were saying, and I don't know, we just had that.
Yeah, I think it's much easier, especially when you've kind of worked with the person for a little while. We got to do a couple weeks of rehearsal and hang out, and we had also been kind of sharing a lot of our personal lives at the time. We were both going through intense situations in our personal lives, and so I think it's kind of like you feel very safe when you can just sit and talk quietly with one person, especially in a small set, especially outside in Center Island, though we were freezing.
It was so cold.
So did you actually like shoot that overnight?
Yeah.
So the last ferry that you see leaving in the shot was legitimately the last ferry, so we were there all night. And that was, I initially thought it was going to be so much fun, but that was painstaking.
It was fun in the way that it was fun in retrospect. But not, it was
in the
that
moment,
kind of that fun that's like really challenging at the time. And you don't think you're having fun at the time, and then later you're like, I see, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it, as I said, it just, you feel that throughout the film. Like, it feels like sort of this first night together, and Jordan's sort of like, should I stay, should I go? And Benny really just sort of wants this to work, and he's trying desperately. So yeah, I think that's all the time we have. So thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, thanks for coming by and talking to us.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.